Some people collect dolls because they remind them of childhood. Others refuse to even say their names after dark. Tonight, we're talking about one of the most infamous haunted objects in the world, Robert the Doll. A doll so feared that visitors leave apology letters after mocking him. A doll that people claim causes nightmares, accidents, sickness, broken relationships, and terrifying streaks of bad luck when he's disrespected. For decades, stories have followed Robert like a curse. People swear his expressions change. They claim he moves on his own. And according to legend, if you want to photograph him, speak about him, or even joke about him, you ask permission first. Because believers will tell you the same thing over and over again. Robert demands respect. Now, maybe you could say it's mass hysteria. Maybe it's all just a coincidence wrapped up in folklore. Or maybe there's a reason that grown adults still whisper about a doll stitched together over 100 years ago. So tonight, family, if strange things start happening just after we start this episode, remember we warned you. Welcome to Darkness Debaters, where tonight we're shining light where darkness dwells and getting into the weird.
Hi, Darkness Debaters. Welcome back to another Into the Weird. Tonight we are discussing Robert the Doll. And we have Miss Mandy, my co-host, and we have Mr. MC as our special guest co-host. Hi, MC.
Hello. Glad to be on.
Yeah, it's been a while. MC joined us the Mermaids Exist episode, which was a lot of fun. So we're excited to have him back on today.
Yes, we are. And have you ever heard of Robert the Doll?
Yes, I have. With the greatest amount of respect that's due to the subject matter at hand. I hate dolls. I don't like them. They are creepy. The regular ones are weird. We discussed the Uncanny Valley effect in the Mermaid episode, and I think that holds a little too true for me when it comes to dolls. You know, something that looks human but really isn't. I just it's just not my thing.
So those little baby dolls that look like real newborn dolls, they're not your thing. They freak you out because they
No.
honestly
No.
they honestly freak me out. Like it's not moving. Is it real? Does it breathe?
Yeah.
It's
they are kind of creepy with how real they look.
Yeah,
they get to those points where they're so realistic. You see one lying on the couch and it's not moving, and you have that thought that goes through your head, oh my god, did somebody leave their baby on my couch and now it's dead? It's not breathing, it's not moving, and then you walk over and it's just a porcelain doll.
Right. So, I'll get started. I'll introduce the audience to Robert the Doll. If you may have never heard of him, like I had never heard of him. He is reportedly the most haunted doll in the world. He is over 100 years old. He was first manufactured in 1904 at the Steiff Company in Germany. He was owned by a little boy named Robert Eugene Otto. His parents were in Germany in 1905, I do believe, 1904, 1905. That time frame, visiting family in Germany. And they brought Robert the Doll, they bought him and brought him back for Robert's 5th birthday. And he was a birthday present to him on his 5th birthday. Pretty immediately after Robert Eugene Otto received Robert the Doll, his parents, his nanny, all saw really noticeable change in Robert. And pretty immediately, he gave the doll his name. He said he would no longer be Robert, that they should call him Gene from now on, that Robert was now the doll. They would report things like hearing voices and laughter, two voices and laughter coming from now Gene's room whenever they were playing in the room. And his mom would go in and be like, "Who's in here? I heard two voices." And he would say, "No, nobody's here. It's just me and Robert. Me and Robert." People thought that was kind of strange. There was things that come up broken in the house. The mom's china, the good china, kept getting broken. And always the go-to excuse for little Mr. Gene was Robert did it. He blamed it on the doll. So yeah, kind of freaky from the very beginning with this doll. He lived in the Otto house up until it was eventually sold, and I believe Gene had eventually passed away. The new owner put him in the attic. I guess with all due respect, she stored him in the attic. She reported that this doll would change facial expressions and he would move on his own. So she had to get rid of him. So he went to go live in a nearby museum where they keep him encased in glass now, sitting in a chair, and people are able to come and visit him now. And there seems to be a set of rules when you visit Robert the doll. One is you must always introduce yourself. If you're coming to visit him, you must introduce yourself. You must be courteous and polite. No disrespect to him. No talking down on him. Telling him anything about his looks or anything of that nature. Absolutely do not touch the glass. Do not touch the glass. When you are going to take a picture of him, you must ask permission. And when you are leaving, you must say goodbye. Must say goodbye. And I think that goes along with, being polite and courteous. Hello and goodbye. I don't see a problem with being courteous to one another. So I can't say as I blame Robert the doll for these rules. They're pretty standard.
These are
Yeah, they're pretty. They are pretty standard, polite society type rules. I actually, in some of the research that I have found, there's a controversial origin story of Robert, and that is that one of the maids or nanny, somebody who worked in the house got fired and did voodoo. This person did voodoo, and they cursed the doll and then gave it to Robert.
Okay.
So that's one of the more controversial origin stories. And it was a doll that was there. There's one. There are no other Robert the dolls that I have been able to find, except for the ones that the museum gift shop sells, the little replications of him. Because this one was made as like a shop window decoration, so it's one of a kind. What I have noticed is the people. I watched some episodes of some ghost hunters, which I'm going to be honest with everybody. I like some ghost hunters, but there are a lot of them that I do not like. I feel like I do believe in the spiritual world. While I do believe that we are under protection from God, and I am very strong in that faith, I also believe we shouldn't poke the bear. I believe that when we mock things and make fun of things and we're cocky about it, we are inviting to be shown what's what. So what I've seen as far as people claiming to have been afflicted by curses from Robert, it's the people who go in there and make fun of him, or the people who get online and laugh at him. the people who say that they don't believe in him, and the people who are very disrespectful. They seem to be the ones that come back later and say, you know, I've had all these bad things happen. One guy said he walked out of the museum and his tire was flat, and he drove to a store, or he aired it up or something, drove to a store, and when he came back out of the store, the battery was dead. And while he was trying to find a battery, his girlfriend called him and said she didn't want to be with him anymore. Didn't really give a specific reason, just said, I don't love you anymore.
Damn.
I think they were engaged.
Pardon my language.
Like, he got home and somebody had broken into his apartment. Like, I mean, it was just like all this
One
stuff
after the other. Yeah.
And he sent an apology pretty fast to Robert, and then he said that, you know, his girlfriend actually came back and he got his car back on the road. I think that, you know, I don't know if they ever caught the person that burglarized his apartment or not, but, you know, they were able to kind of rebuild from that. He moved and everything was fine after that. But was that just a coincidence? No. All of that stuff might have happened to him no matter what he did. We won't know. But what I will say is, why chance it? You know, why even take the risk? There's no reason to. A lot of things, you know, people don't believe in. You know, they just don't believe in it until something happens. And then we hear stories like this where, you know, like, well, I didn't believe it, and I walked in and laughed at him, and then my life fell apart in the matter of 3 hours. So I wouldn't mess with it personally. I'm not going to go looking for trouble. I'm not going to walk in there and mock him. I don't know that I would go visit at all, to be honest with you. I know I'll never go visit Annabelle. I'm pretty set that I'm never going to go visit that doll. Whether all of this is real or not, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to find out firsthand. I'm gonna find out from people that have been there that are not me, because I'm not going to go mess with it. But that's pretty much what I found in my research, is that as long as you're respectful, he don't have any issues with you.
So I think it's interesting because there are definitely, it makes sense when you think about it spiritually, because there's plenty of demons, entities, ghosts, whatever, that come with their own set of terms and conditions. Most of the consequences are more immediate when you disregard them, you know, such as if you subscribe to the urban legend of the Midnight Game and the Midnight Man, Bloody Mary, things like that. Robert sounds like one of those that you really don't want to skip the terms and conditions on. You kind of want to read through everything and make sure you sign at the bottom. Yeah, this isn't an Apple Store registration. You kind of have to make sure that you're following along with it. I do have to have a healthy amount of skepticism that goes in with it, though. I got to play, I guess I would call it devil's advocate for the more scientific explanations behind things, such as maybe that dude literally just had a run of bad luck. I believe in the spiritual world. I do. I have my reasons for that. That being said, there's a lot about Robert's backstory that likens to folklore from a particular subset of ancient European entities known as fairies and the Fae. Particularly the name thing. Now, it's different from story to story depending on like which part of Europe that you're going to and talking about it and everything. But it's known that you're never supposed to give a fairy your name because they can replace you, they can become you, or they'll take it, or you'll become their slave, things of that nature. So Robert taking the original Robert's name, which no disrespect to Robert the doll, but I guess a little bit to his first owner, because if you had the opportunity to name yourself and you picked Gene, come on, dude, you could have been like Chris or something, like something cool.
That was his middle name was Eugene.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was his middle name.
I didn't realize that because I was about to say, I was like, if you are going to rename yourself and your parents are willing to go along with it, I mean, this was 100 years ago, but I mean, in today's day and age, at his age, I probably would have said, "Oh, I'm Megatron now. I'm Starscream."
Yeah. It was that time though, so that wasn't an option yet.
Yeah. Ulysses would have been a good one. But that's getting off topic. It's as far as I'm concerned, the jury's out. I mean, there's a lot of like very strange coincidences, I would say. Like, you know, the guy's entire I gotta remember to watch my mouth. We're not on Impolite History. The guy's whole heckin' life falling apart, like that. You know, his girl when you were like his tire was flat. I was like, okay, I mean that could happen. Maybe it was a you know, just a bad day. Maybe somebody slashed it. Who knows? And then his girlfriend left him. I was like, Jesus. Then his house got broken into.
Wow.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's rough. And then he writes the apology letter and everything starts getting fixed. I'm like, maybe. It's definitely a weird coincidence.
It is a weird coincidence, but there's a couple of things that I want to bring up. If you are looking for a white car, you're going to see nothing but white cars. You know, if you go into that museum knowing that you're going to mock and laugh at Robert, and then you're going to be cursed or, you know, even if you don't believe it, but you're going to be kind of watching for it, and then bad things happen and you start piecing them together. So there is some element of, does it have more to do with what you're looking for and what you're expecting it, so you're kind of sabotaging yourself? Now, I don't see how he could have walked out and immediately sabotaged himself in all those ways. But some people, it takes them weeks, months going through these things before they finally write the letter. And it could also be that it was timing. It was coincidence that all these bad things were going to happen anyway. And then once they write the letter, they believe it so strongly that their luck has changed that it does. You know? Subconsciously, kind of like the manifesting thing. If you believe in something strongly enough, it'll happen. So I kind of feel like, you know, maybe that's part of it. Maybe they have manifested their luck changing. You know, the museum where he's at was a hospital for victims of yellow fever. Lots of people died in that hospital. So
yummy.
I mean,
yeah,
there's all that kind of bad juju, and there's a lot of places in that building where people that work there say they won't go there alone. Like there's this one tunnel where at the end of the tunnel they kept the bodies of people that they employed contractors to make caskets for all these people, but they just couldn't make them fast enough. And then they started running out of places to bury them, so they just kind of stacked them up in this tunnel. And visitors of that museum report feeling very heavy, and they want to get out of the museum. Like if they go down there, they don't even want to be in the building. So you've got a doll that's reportedly haunted, cursed, however you want to say it, and then you're going to house him in a place like that. I feel like if he's got a dark entity attached to him, that would be the kind of place where that dark entity would just sit and gain power and just gain strength over the years. That kind of misery and stuff like that would just feed it. And even if it started that Robert really wasn't that strong to begin with, sitting in a place like that could certainly amplify, you know?
I mean, but if he was a dark entity, wouldn't it would stand to reason that you couldn't apologize your way out of it. He would just mess your life up until he was done with you. Like, if you could be respectful and kind to him and ask permission and everything, I don't think he's dark. Getting more powerful, that might be, you know, that might be an argument, you know, worth having, considering you've basically got America's equivalent of the Paris catacombs, at a much smaller scale, but victims of a plague shoved into a tunnel. I mean,
yeah, it also depends on, are you looking at it from what perspective are you looking at it from? Because there are entities that certain religions would view them as dark because they're an entity and they can cause trouble, but they're really not. There are some within voodoo that you don't mess with them, because you just don't mess with them. You don't disrespect them. And they're big about respect. But people who practice voodoo will tell you, as long as you're not, being disrespectful and that kind of thing, you really don't have anything to worry about. You don't want to play with them. And usually when people run into trouble with them, it's because they're trying to play with them and they're being disrespectful. And they're, we do live in a day and age where, let's see, what was the thing the other day? I was on Facebook and this friend of mine, who's another creator, this girl that looked to be about 16 years old, being very disrespectful to my friend about her daughter's medical condition. And my friend was like, look, you're not understanding everything that you're suggesting. We've already tried. Now, I appreciate you, offering that, but it won't work. Well, the girl just got progressively more offensive at her and, started insulting her. And my friend was like, look, you can leave. I don't remember exactly what she said, but this little girl came back with, well, it's really stupid of you to offend a bruja. You're going in my freezer in a jar. And then she attached a picture of some dirty liquid in a jar in her freezer.
Ew, bathwater.
Which it's a freezer spell, and she, the girl added at the bottom of it that all this negative stuff was going to come at my friend from this jar, and I'm like, I'm not a bruja. I do know some brujas, and I do know what the freezer spell is, and that's not what the freezer spell does. But online, I see a lot of people playing with things that they should not play with. And you'll get a 16, 17-year-old girl telling you that she is a high priestess within voodoo or other religions, or that she is a bruja of a high order, or whatever. So I had a point to that and I don't remember what it was. I'm so sorry.
Those were always the fun. Those were always the fun ones to date when I was in high school.
I think my perspective is, you kind of get from this world what you put out. And I believe in spirits, I believe in entities, and I believe in karma. If you're out here putting ugly out in this world, going into the museum, speaking negatively of Robert the Doll, that's probably not the only place you're spewing hatred and ugliness. You're probably doing that throughout your whole life. And I believe that if you're spreading ugly, you're going to get ugly back. So to me, that's what I make of it. Even if you don't believe that Robert the Doll himself is actually doing things to people. I mean, you've got reported deaths. You've got people breaking up. You've got, like you said, the flat tires. You've got just years and years of bad luck until they actually write in and send the museum a apology letter to Robert and apologize, and then they start seeing a noticeable difference. And maybe that's their way of, kind of turning it around. If you're going to put out good, then you'll get good in return. Right. That's my 2 cents of it. Yeah. Karma, I do believe is a real thing.
On the chance that Robert's influence is real, and you have to send a letter in, I This just popped in my head. I have to say it. Can you imagine how bad it would be for the post office to lose that letter?
Yeah.
For it to never reach the museum.
That would be terrible.
That's terrible.
If I sent an apology letter to Robert and like 2 or 3 weeks went by and things were still upside down, I would send another one. Right. I wouldn't stop until things turned, or I would drive back over there myself, you know.
My first instinct would literally be, you know, bad stuff starts happening for a few weeks. Finally, just say, might as well try, right? Screw it. Send the letter in. The letter gets lost. I have no idea that it got lost. And I'm sitting there like, shoot, I really must have pissed him off.
Or if you're, like Brandy was talking about, you know, if you're acting like that there, chances are you act like that other places. You know, you send a letter, it gets lost, but you don't know it's lost, and things still keep going sideways. So you're sitting around going, dang, who else did I piss off? Like,
yeah.
It's like, oh my,
I
think that Starbucks barista wasn't lying. She really did put an X on me.
Right.
I have to go back and click the tip option.
Yeah. Or maybe that 15-year-old girl that said she's a high priestess on Facebook wasn't joking.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I have my healthy amount of skepticism when it comes to things such as Robert the Doll and haunted dolls and such. I don't think it's beyond all reason for things like that to exist, especially because I myself believe in the spiritual world. That being said, a lot of stuff in a similar vein, you know, not saying Robert the Doll and Annabelle specifically, but a lot of stuff in the similar vein and alley of, what would you call it? The study of ghosts and demonology and such have been proven to be fake.
Yeah.
Does that mean that this is fake? Not really. I mean,
no.
It's hard to prove one way. That's the kicker. It's hard to prove one way or the other. I mean, if you base your entire life off of science, nothing is ever going to be amazing. If you base your entire life off of the amazing, nothing is ever going to be logical. You have to have a healthy mix of both. Otherwise, your life is just one extreme or the other.
That's very true. I'll give my unpopular opinion here about, I'm going to say this, and y'all don't come for me in the comments. I'm so sorry. I really don't believe half of what Ed and Lorraine Warren say they did actually happen. I also don't believe that the Amityville Horror was a haunted house. I believe it was a crazy man and then a couple of people that were looking to make money. But I believe that roughly half, if not more, of what Ed and Lorraine Warren were involved in was for show. I believe some of it was real, but I believe the majority of it was not. And that's based on things that we do know for fact, and families who did not want them around. And there was one case that they worked on where they said a girl was levitating, and they actually had a video of what she would, like something she, at a time she was supposed to have been levitating, and in the video it shows her jumping up and down. But they kind of sold that picture off as her levitating. The little boy in the Amityville house that they claim was one of the DeFeo children, has been confirmed that it was one of the people that was working on the staff. It was their son. All of that kind of stuff. So I don't just believe every single spiritual thing. It is very much a case-by-case basis. I don't know about Robert. I believe enough to not mess with it. I believe enough that I'm not going to go there and make fun of him or be disrespectful to him. But I'm not that kind of person anyway. I don't do that to people. Or to inanimate objects.
The levitating thing. I just want to say this levitating thing. She's jumping up and down. It's like, look, her feet left the bed for 4 seconds. It's like, yeah, genius. That's how gravity works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really did. I used to think that Ed and Lorraine were just it and legit. And I started. A friend of mine actually posted something about them being frauds, and I was like, "No, they're not." And I started looking, and yeah, they were about quite a bit. So I'm not saying all of it was fraudulent, and I'm not saying they never helped anybody, but I think that they had bills to pay, so some of it was exaggerated or made up or
entertainment.
It was entertainment. I'm not saying I'm not going to judge them for it. I mean, they did entertain people, but
I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens.
Not saying they were frauds, but anyway. But yeah, as far as Robert, I'm not going to say I don't believe in it.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to have a healthy amount of belief. And just be as respectful as I can. I'm not going to go visit him. What about you, Brandy? What do you think?
I'm same with you. I don't know that I do believe it, but I don't know that I don't believe it. But I would actually love to go see him and follow his rules. Be polite. Do all the things. I would follow the rules, but I would like to go see him. Yeah. And what about you, MC?
With all the respect in the world, that is deserved. Like I said at the beginning, I think dolls are creepy as hell anyway. So
you wouldn't go see him.
Meeting Robert is probably not in the agenda for me. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure we could toss back a couple of drinks and share some stories, but I mean, with all due respect, it's just not my cup of tea.
I get that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. So tell us, darkness debaters, would you go visit Robert the doll? Would you risk maybe angering him and go visit him? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know if you would follow the rules. Would you mock him? Would you do it because you don't believe? Or would you mock him just to see if it's true? Let us know. What would you do? Would you follow the rules? Would you sit in the corner with me while Brandy goes and sees him and not mess with it? With me and MC?
You're right.
And
let us know what you think.
To preface that, or to follow up on that, I want to personally say I'm not actively, because again, I don't necessarily believe in it, but on the off chance that it's real, I don't necessarily encourage going and see it. Like, if you want to comment and say, yeah, I'd be into that, but I'm not encouraging you to go and meet that doll, because if you go disrespect him and then your car has a flat tire and your girl breaks up with you and your house gets broken into, I don't want to end up in your note, dog. We care too much about y'all for that to happen. So just be respectful.
Just follow the rules. And if you have a story about Robert, if you have gone and seen him, if you were disrespectful and bad stuff happened, or if you were disrespectful and nothing happened, let us know. Let us know down in the comments. What's your experience? And even if you've never met him, you've never heard of him, or maybe you've heard a little bit here and there, let us know what you think. We want your idea too. This has definitely been a fun episode. We have had some incredibly heavy topics. We are just coming away from the Athena Strand trial, which that episode, by the time this airs, that episode finished up last week, and that was very heavy for me and Brandy. And
heavy.
It was awful. MC did follow it, and
yes,
it was rough. And so this episode was, I think it was needed to kind of take a deep breath and talk about something completely different. Also, don't forget to go to our merch store and get you an Into the Weird t-shirt.
Or a tumbler.
Or a tumbler.
Or a True Crime and Chill with Mandy and Brandy shirt.
Absolutely.
Available in different colors. You don't have to get pink. Yes. Go visit our merch store. We have merch.
Yes, we do. And more will be coming. And if you journal, we have a journal in there. If you need a place to write down your evidence while you're talking about cases, or write down things that you want to tell me and Brandy in the comments while you're listening, go get you a journal. We do everything we can to keep our prices low, because it's all about getting our family the merchandise that they want. We're not going to become rich off of that store, and that's okay. That's not why we do this. So I think
it does help fund a little bit of what we do, but we're not going to get rich. Yeah.
Buy the merch. I've seen it. It's pretty fly. Pretty fly.
Thank you, MC. That means a lot.
Yes, thank you. All right, until next time, Darkness Debaters. What does Brandy always say?
Keep shining light where darkness dwells, Darkness Debaters.
Absolutely. Bye, guys.
Bye.